Hare Krishna everyone, we're continuing to read The Science of Self-Realization by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. First chapter, Learning the Science of the Self. This section is called Reincarnation and Beyond. Mike Robinson. What about the chanting of Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna? Srila Prabhupada. Chanting Hare Krishna is the easiest process by which to become purified, especially in this age when people are so dull that they cannot very easily understand spiritual knowledge. If one chants Hare Krishna, then his intelligence becomes purified and he can understand spiritual things. Mike Robinson. Can you tell me how you are guided in what you do? Srila Prabhupada. We take guidance from the Vedic literature. Mike Robinson. From the scriptures you quoted? Srila Prabhupada. Yes. Yes, it's all in the literatures. We're explaining them in English. But we're not manufacturing anything. If we were to manufacture knowledge, then everything would be spoiled. The Vedic literature is something like the literature that explains how to set up this microphone. It says, do it like this. Some of the screws should be on this side, around the metal. You cannot make any change, then everything would be spoiled. Similarly, because we are not manufacturing anything, one simply has to read one of our books, and he receives real spiritual knowledge. Mike Robinson. How can the philosophy of Krishna consciousness affect the way people live? Srila Prabhupada. It can relieve people's sufferings. People are suffering because they are misunderstanding themselves to be the body. If you think that you are your coat and shirt, and you very carefully wash the coat and shirt, but you forget to eat, will you be happy? Mike Robinson. No, I wouldn't. Srila Prabhupada. Similarly, everyone is simply washing the coat and shirt of the body, but forgetting about the soul within the body. They have no information about what is within the coat and shirt of the body. Ask anybody what he is, and he will say, yes, I'm an Englishman, or I'm an Indian. And if we say, I can see you have an English or Indian body, but what are you? That he cannot say. Mike Robinson. I see. Srila Prabhupada. The whole modern civilization is operating on the misunderstanding that the body is the self, Dehatma Buddhi. This is the mentality of the cats and dogs. Suppose I try to enter England and you stop me at the border. I'm an Englishman, you say, but you are Indian. Why have you come here? And the dog barks, row, row, why are you coming? So what is the difference in the mentality? The dog is thinking, he is a dog and I'm a stranger. And you are thinking, you are an Englishman and I'm an Indian. There's no difference in mentality. So if you keep people in the darkness of a dog's mentality and declare that you are advancing in civilization, you are most misguided. Mike Robinson. Now, moving on to another point, I gather the Hare Krishna movement has some concern for areas of the world where there is suffering. Srila Prabhupada: yes, we have the only concern. Others are simply avoiding the main problems: birth, old age, disease, and death. Others have no solutions to these problems. They are simply taking all kinds of nonsense. People are being misguided. They're being kept in darkness. Let us start to give them some light. Mike Robinson: yes, but apart from giving spiritual enlightenment, are you also concerned for people's physical well-being? Srila Prabhupada: physical well-being automatically follows spiritual well-being. Mike Robinson: and how does that work? Srila Prabhupada: suppose you have a car. Naturally you take care of the car as well as yourself. But you don't identify yourself as the car. You don't say, I am this car. That is nonsense. But this is what people are doing. They're taking too much care of the bodily car, thinking that the car is the self. They forget that they are different from the car and that they are a spirit soul and have a different business. Just as no one can drink petrol and be satisfied, no one can be satisfied with bodily activities. One must find out the proper food for the soul. If a man thinks, I am this car and I must drink this petrol, he is considered insane. Similarly, one who thinks that he is this body and who tries to become happy with bodily pleasures is also insane. Mike Robinson: there's a quote here that I'd like you to comment on. I was given this literature by your people before I came, and one of the things you say here is that, quote, religion without a rational basis is just sentiment. Can you explain that? Srila Prabhupada: most religious people say, we believe. But what is the value of this belief? You may believe something which is not actually correct. For instance, some of the Christian people say, we believe that animals have no soul. That is not correct. They believe animals have no soul because they want to eat the animals. But actually animals do have a soul. Mike Robinson: how do you know that the animal has a soul? Srila Prabhupada: you can know also. Here is the scientific proof. The animal eats, you eat. The animal sleeps, you sleep. The animal has sex, you have sex. The animal also defends, you also defend. Then what is the difference between you and the animal? How can you say that you have a soul but the animal doesn't? This is 1960s or 70s, right? And back then it was still a topic. This is 1976, that animals have no soul. A lot of people believed it, but now, almost 50 years later, it's a known kind of people make videos of their pets, and nowadays they're like, how can you think that animals don't have a soul? People become more humane, so many vegans are around and that. So with time there is little progress towards higher consciousness, that actually animals do have a soul. Look at them, look at how cute they are, look at how They're intelligent, they're sentient, yeah. Mike Robinson, I can see that completely, but the Christian scriptures say, Srila Prabhupada, don't bring in any scriptures. This is a common sense topic. Try to understand. The animal is eating, you are eating. The animal is sleeping, you are sleeping. The animal is defending, you are defending. The animal is having sex, you are having sex. The animals have children, you have children. They have a living place, you have a living place. If the animal's body is cut, there is blood. If your body is cut, there is blood. So all these similarities are there. Now, why do you deny this one similarity, the presence of the soul? This is not logical. You have studied logic? In logic, there is something called analogy. Analogy means drawing a conclusion by finding many points of similarity. If there are so many points of similarity between human beings and animals, why deny one similarity? That is not logic. That is not science. Mike Robinson, but if you take that argument and use it the other way, Srila Prabhupada, there is no other way. If you are not arguing on the basis of logic, then you are not rational. Mike Robinson, yes, okay, but let's start from another hypothesis. Suppose we assume that a human being has no soul. Srila Prabhupada, then you must explain the difference between a living body and a dead body. I have already explained this at the beginning. As soon as the living force, the soul, is gone from the body, even the most beautiful body has no value. No one cares for it. It's thrown away. But now, if I touch your hair, there will be a fight. That is the distinction between a living body and a dead body. In a living body, the soul is there, and in a dead body, the soul is not there. As soon as the soul leaves the body has no value. It is useless. This is very simple to understand, but even the biggest so-called scientists and philosophers are too dull-headed to understand it. Modern society is a very abominable condition. There is no man with a real brain. Mike Robinson, are you referring to all the scientists who fail to understand the spiritual dimension in life? Srila Prabhupada, yes. Real science means full knowledge of everything, material and spiritual. Mike Robinson, but you were a chemist in secular life, were you not? Srila Prabhupada, yes, I was a chemist in my earlier life. But it doesn't require any great intelligence to become a chemist. Any common sense man can do it. Mike Robinson, but presumably you think that material science is also important, even if today's scientists are dull-headed. Srila Prabhupada, material science is important just so far. It is not all important. Mike Robinson, I see. Can I come back to a question I had from before? When we were deferring a few minutes ago, you were saying, don't bring the scriptures in, just use common sense. But what part do the scriptures play in your religion? How important are they? Srila Prabhupada. Our religion is a science. When we say that a child grows into a body, into a boy, child into a boy, it is a science. It's not religion. Every child grows into a boy. What is the question of religion? Every man dies. What is the question of religion? And when a man dies, the body becomes useless. What is the question of religion? It is science. Whether you're Christian or Hindu or Muslim, when you die, your body becomes useless. This is science. When your relative dies, you cannot say, we are Christians, we believe he has not died. No, he has died. Whether you're Christian or Muslim or Hindu, he has died. So when we speak on this basis that the body is important only as long as the soul is in the body. When the soul is not there, it is useless. This science is applicable to everyone, and we are trying to educate people on this basis. Mike Robinson. But if I understand you correctly, you seem to be educating people on a purely scientific basis. Where does religion come into it at all? Srila Prabhupada. Religion also means science. People have wrongly taken religion to be faith. I believe. To a devotee, he's saying. Look up the word religion in the dictionary. Disciple. Under religion, the dictionary says recognition of superhuman control or power, and especially of a personal God entitled to obedience, and effecting such recognition with the proper mental attitude. Srila Prabhupada. Yes, religion means, we're going to read tomorrow what religion means, according to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So thank you so much for tuning in today. The link to this book is in the description. Check out our website, shravanamdiaries.com, and we shall see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.